Hello, the internet. How is everybody? I apologize. I was making myself a drink right here. And then I also realized I haven't posted to Instagram yet. Whoops. I was being very casual with my time right now, just hanging out with the puppies. But hello, happy Monday. I hope everyone is doing well. I promise I will not be looking at my phone this whole time here. And Rocket has started licking my legs down here under the table. Um, how's everybody doing? How you doing? Happy Monday. Happy Monday. We're starting it here. The last Monday of Pride. Is that correct? Yeah, because the 30th is on Sunday, I think. Let me open this window real quick and look. Yes, I knew it. But yeah, very cool. Rocket, honey, stop. He's licking me. He's licking me. Oh, he gets a little hiccups. We got the little hiccups, baby. I am downstairs because I am with the two little babies right now. Artie's over there at the door. I apologize if they start barking like crazy. The trash man I just saw right when I was doing my drink over here is collecting garbage. But this evening I am drinking a gin and tonic, very simple. I got some of the aviation, the Deadpool gin, and I'm doing that with the Fever Tree cucumber tonic water. I feel like that goes together really nice. I also got the yuzu and lime, and I don't know. I haven't heard about that yet. I hope I didn't just lose the internet because this Alexa started talking to me again. I didn't. She's just not set up right. She does this every time I start doing this. I feel like anytime there's a conversation, she's not included. Inserts herself into the conversation. It's very rude. Honestly, it's exhausting. How is, yeah, I'm just going to keep saying, how is everybody? Diane, I apologize. I saw your text and I wanted to write back, but it was one of those, like, I was in the middle of doing something and then um, I have a thoughts, obviously, to respond to you, but yeah. I got back Saturday afternoon, and from being out in California, I left on Monday afternoon. So I was out there. Oh, sorry, I got back Sunday afternoon. Did I say Saturday? I went Monday and I came back Sunday afternoon. I had a fun week. Fun week with my friend CJ came out and hung out with me, and we went to Disneyland Pride, which is a really great Disneyland After Hours event, or they call it Disneyland After Dark Pride Night, and I was not disappointed. I was worried because our first night we had a little bit of a rough start. Not a rough start. We got stuck like on a ride, and I was like, "This is why we don't do rides." But it was also like he had only had a ticket for the Disney California Adventure on Wednesday, and I was like, okay, shoot. So I wanted to make sure he got to do some of those rides that he wanted to do. But Thursday was like went off without a hitch. It was perfect. It was perfect. My friend Kurt. I saw so many people out there. Oh no! Wait a minute. Did my microphone just die? What the heck? Sorry, guys. I don't know what is going on right now with everything. This is really weird. I had turned it in and done a mic check and it shut off, and it's never done that before. And now that makes me a little nervous. So it's not registering the microphone. Oh no, time to get new ones. I'm worried these ones got a little beat up, but these are I love these mics. I'll swear by them. The DJI mics. They have a new version out now that I feel like I want to get. There we go. Jeez, what the heck? That's so weird. Um, Sorry about that. Can you? I don't feel like you can hear me. I don't. It might be too late. Um, uh, we got it. We got UK here today. Hi, Tracy. How are you? It's got to be like 2 a.m. there, right? Um, I'm gonna rotate through my mics. Hold on. I think it's this mic finally. Sorry about that. Oh my gosh, so annoying. Something will always, something always goes wrong. If something can go wrong, stuff will go wrong. Anyway, apologies about that. Let me scroll through this chat here. Constance up in the Northeast. Happy about that. Happy about that, everybody. Lori, good to see you in here. Dee, good to see you. Trey, always, yes. Cassandra, hi. Mr. J, hi. Jennifer. Oh my gosh. Oh, Steven just said, hold on, here we go. I can add it to the broadcast. Said, I'm going to watch the rest of this later. I just wanted to stop in and say thank you so much for saying hi and taking a picture with me and my dad on Tuesday night at Disneyland. You made our night. You guys made my night. Oh my God. No, I love that. That's so sweet. Okay, I appreciate all of you. Okay, sorry. Now I'm seeing all the chat. There's like a delay on my end. Like the chat gets delayed to come to me. So I appreciate you all. Trina says, so happy you got to meet my son at Pride Night. He was the one with the Jennifer Coolidge fan. Yes. And he called me on the, I got on the phone with you. That was great. Gosh, I did see Harvey as well. Trey's asking, did I see Harvey Guion from What We Do in the Shadows? He was on Space Mountain and while I was in the queue, so he was like right down in front of me, and I just far enough where I was like, I literally did the thing where I was like, if it weren't for the fact that I wanted to give him just like a big thank you, I tried to see if I could see him afterwards, and I didn't see him. But I did get to meet Bo DeMeo, who was the creator of X-Men '97, and he was incredibly kind to let me say hello and kind of just like verbal on him. Like, and then I also saw like I say friend, but like we don't know each other that well. Like, Tony Morrison, who works for GLAAD and does some amazing humanitarian work. I saw him last year on Main Street too, and it's like one of those things, we've got to stop meeting like this, or we should keep meeting like this, is really what I feel like. I got to see him, and so it was great, but then also like I saw the parents that I had met last year at Pride Night on the Main Street, who were talking about their kids, love, and their kids went this year and everything like that. And it was just such a beautiful, I don't know, it was such a beautiful event. Obviously, like I said, I don't really like to mix and match what we talk about, but I just, personal and work and stuff like that. And obviously I'll talk about more on the Disney stuff I do, but it was, I break it down like this. I know there's people on the fence about going and what does it offer and a thing like that. Well, what it offers to me is a safe space of love, and it is just one of these incredible feelings of just like being in this park filled, that is more people than I grew up in a town with were in that park. And it's kind of saying like every one of these people loves and supports your lifestyle, and it was just like, seeing all these people, the laughter, the happiness, it's infectious. The love, like smiles, like people complimenting on others' outfits, all these things, and it also was like, not to knock like Pride events or anything like that, but sometimes like you go to like local city Pride events and things like that. I mean, I grew up near Boston, so stuff like that for me, it can get a little edgier, a little in your face. And this was just like such a like nice, soft, but it also wasn't like, oh, we're not saying gay, we're not saying this. Like there was like one part where custodial cast members I could see had all these like strips out, and as I'm walking up, I'm realizing they're rolls of stickers, and one of them, every one after the other, is different Pride flags, like all the way down through the Pride flags. And then the other one was the same thing, but it was all heart-shaped ones, and I'm like, they didn't bring those themselves, I don't think. You know what I mean? I bet it was, they got those from the company. It was just like such a cool event. Plus, gang, let me tell you about the weather out in California. The second I stepped off that plane, because I think my flight was to, my flight was like 4 o'clock. No, I landed at, it was like 4 o'clock. So I had to go to the airport at 2. And it was hot and humid here. And the second I stepped off that airplane, it was crazy, because it was just like, when you go that quick the other way, because normally it's like I leave first thing in the morning, but I'm trying to, lately I'm like, I want to be functional for more of the day, and I had to film a hotel room while I was there. So it was wild. Like you step out and it's just like the air is so light, and it's like, it like when the wind blows, there was like a little bit of like crisp cool in it. And, it was like 80 or something like that, but it was so nice. So nice. Craig's texting me about a Mary Poppins vinyl, which Oh wait, I don't know what he's doing. I thought he was saying Mary Poppins, but I don't have Mary Poppins in front. Oh my God, it is $300. He is out of his damn mind if he is telling me. Is it all the versions of Mary Poppins or something? Oh, it is. That's cool. I do like that. I love Mary Poppins. Yeah, no. So it was so much fun, so much good food to eat out there. I got to see a bunch of people. I haven't seen in forever, and it's just like that. I don't know. It just feels like it feels different out there, and sometimes it is hard to put it into words. And I forget who I was talking to. It might have been a cast member. No, it was a Lyft driver, and they basically like, okay, which do you like better, this or that? And I said I definitely like Disneyland better because I think it's more my vibe and speed and the proximity of things versus like better weather. I feel like which puts people in better spirits and it can feel a little less overwhelming and the walkability of everything. I'm going to keep saying that. But they were like they had just driven a couple who said it was the opposite for them. They came out here and they felt like they were a little disappointed. And I was like, I guess it was the thing. Like when I grew up, I was never really into like the hotels or any of that stuff. So like there are the hotels there, and there is the immersion element of Walt Disney World because it's vast and sprawling. And I get why some people want to get lost in that, but for me, it's like I get lost in that at Disneyland just as much. So I don't know. I'm going to be a Disneyland girly all the way through. So. Anyway, we could talk about other stuff. I don't want to keep talking about Disney stuff because obviously that's going to be like on the work side of things and everything. And but it was just an absolutely phenomenal time, and I'm so happy I got to do it. So happy to get to experience it with some really good friends that I was out there with. My friend Kurt, I get to see. I already said that. CJ was staying with me, and we saw people like Willis. I don't know if he ends up in this chat or not. And just like, my friends Donald and Paul were out there randomly, and I didn't know. And it was just like, it's in a friend Maureen that I had made at D23 in like 2017 was there. So I got to see her for a little bit. And it was just like one of those like, oh no, it feels almost like the best version of a high school class reunion you could have when you're out at Disneyland. I feel like. So it was a lot of fun. It was really cool. I got to do some fun stuff. I just think it does something for your mental health. Like this is where I want to branch this conversation out into is I don't think people completely understand sometimes the things you can do. I don't want to say to support, and I don't want to say. So my friend CJ lives in Austin, and I've been to Austin a couple of times, and I'll bring this one up is that because so like in Austin they have a lot of places that are just like they're for everybody, they're just safe spaces. So I'll be like, oh, is this a gay bar? And they'll be like, yeah, and they're like, well, not a gay bar, but they're like, there's gay people everywhere. Look, there, and they're like, no one cares, and I was just like, I don't feel that. I never really have been to places like that. So that's one of those things where I love about Austin is that nobody cares because their favorite expression is keep it weird, keep Austin weird. And so like that's the cool experience there. And then to be at like Disneyland where it's like no one cares. It's just one of those things. And I don't mean no one cares in a negative way. I mean in a positive way. But it's like I guess I just didn't know what that feeling, that sense of, I think it creates a sense of like community, of belonging, of, space for you where you truly, I think it seeps into your mentality and into your spirit and your soul. And it starts to make you feel a little more whole, but also like you can just be your full version of yourself and celebrate that person for everything that they are. And that's kind of one of those sadder parts of life where I was like, I don't have those spaces here. I feel like I was thinking about it where I was like, you know what, this week I think I want to go out. It's still Pride until Sunday, so I was like, I want to go dancing. I was like, I'm not good at dancing, girl. No, she ain't got no rhythm. And I was just thinking where it's like, where do I go? And it's like we have like one actual gay bar here, but the problem for me was like the other ones aren't really like all inclusive spaces. Like they maybe a restaurant or a thing will put the sticker up, but there aren't places where it's like, I don't feel comfortable being 100% myself in a lot of places that I am. And I think it's very telling, and it's just something also I'm examining, and I think about that when I look at places where I'd like to move to, where I was like, I want to know what that community is like. I want to go to Palm Springs, I think. That's where I want to move to. Like, I don't know. It's these little things that I think that some people, um, and I'm not just saying it's exclusive to like the straight community or anything like that, because that definitely is not true. But it is people. It is that element of, we talk a lot about, in the last couple of years, I've learned a lot about like privilege and how that can manifest itself in a lot of different ways. Um, and I do feel like there is this element, of like, you know, kind of all spaces, I feel like, start at a heteronormative level and then expand outward. At least is what my experience in life has been. And it's like, so like when people get upset about queer people being included in things, or, people of color, or anything diverse related, women, whatever. And it's just like, I think if we had had more experiences like these, like places that I've been to in Austin, or like, this Pride Night event, if more of these people could go and see what it was, I think their hearts would open a little bit more. I think their understanding would open a little bit more. And the reason why I say I don't feel like that's exclusive to heteronormative community is because I think about, people of the queer community like myself who grew up in small towns, and don't have experience with that, have to, your homosexuality or your queerness is like your secret identity as a superhero. That's how I always identified it for me as a kid. And it's kind of like, sometimes Superman wants to let his cape down and dance, baby. And so I just think it's kind of one of those things where, when you build these sort of environments from the ground up to be all like a little more all inclusive, people can grow, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, whatever, in ways that I don't think we even have studied or registered yet. And I think it does a lot for, mental wellness and your psyche and stuff like that. Because then I think people just aren't even going to give it a second thought. And I think eventually people just aren't going to give a shit when anybody's different. That's the thing that's beautiful, is like, I think we could be that. And that's the thing with Disneyland Pride is it is, whenever anybody's like, oh, it's not the Disney way, or it's not the thing, any of the people who are a little more closed-minded and stuff, I think that the Pride Night to me is one of those things that is so inherently Disney, because it is literally like an optimistic view of what society could be. And I feel like that was at its core a lot of like Disney, what he talked about, especially when he built, when Tomorrowland was developed and things like that, where it was a lot of like, it was the future, but through an optimistic lens. And I think if we could put those on, even when it's just such a hard time to do that, I think that it's just like, it would be such a nicer, we could make the world such a nicer place, and I mean, I'm guilty of, being not as optimistic as I could be, and something I'm definitely working on, trying not to jump to the negative, trying to spin the positive, I think it's maybe more about not jumping to the negative, but it's more about trying to celebrate what does function as opposed to condemning what doesn't, and then figuring out like, let's celebrate the good and then let's figure out how we can make it better. And so there's a lot of like stuff like that, and I don't know, it's sort of like that thing when especially like in theme park community, there can be a lot of things, I feel that stress of like, there's a lot of people, with mobility issues, or special needs and things like that. And I feel like people get so like venom dripping fangy, like jump to like that, like they're out to get something or whatever. And it's like, there are sometimes, there are maybe, but it's kind of like, let's try and there's a couple of parts of me, because it's like, I do believe that we can't build everything for everybody, but also not everything should be for everybody. You know what I mean? But then at the same time, it's kind of like, we can build inclusivity without creating exclusivity. Does that make sense? It's like, it's not really a pie. You know what I mean? This part of life isn't finite. How we treat each other, it's forever. And so, but I feel like we start to, it's hard for like the human beings. I'm guilty of this too. I'm always guilty of this stuff. That's why I talk about it. I'm just talking about from my experience too. I am not an expert. These are just things that I meditate on. I feel like we should start calling this Monday meditations maybe, or something. But I I just think that a lot of times we view stuff as like a pie, as a whole, as a circle, as a circular thing, and we often think that when we need to take when we need to take cuts and give them to something else, it means less of another thing. And that, and that there are a lot of institutions in society that are built that way, that have budgets, and things like that. And ultimately, that there's only so many distributable resources, but there are the human spirit is not that. We can keep growing. We can keep trying to be better. We can keep looking toward positivity and optimism, and that's why we do therapy. That's why we go to counseling. That's why someone trips and we help them up, because that is the growth of human spirit, whether it takes you putting yourself in that person's shoes, or maybe it's something as simple as just like, I don't know, just because you have so much of something and maybe you want to help someone with it. I think it's also like growing up, like in my adult life, having taken some of these like, weird, obviously I'm in that massive debt of student loan and stuff like that and things. And I had no money for so long, and I don't really have money now. I don't have money now either, but I acknowledge very much so that I have more now than I did. Like I have some savings, well, for now, I'm always terrified that the government is basically going to be like, no, that's our student loans. It's obviously not allowed to do enough, but it lets me think like maybe if one of the dogs got hurt, I could at least, that wouldn't be an issue. And that's ultimately what I try and keep that money for and stuff. But I like to be the guy when we go out somewhere, like when I have other cast member friends still, or people that are a little more modest in their ways, that like, I want to be that guy who buys them a drink. I like to be that guy because it makes me feel better. And it's not like gloating, it's not whatever, but it feels like it alleviates sort of maybe a burden or a stigma or something like that they can't do these sort of things. Like obviously we can't all go to Victoria and Albert's together. I mean, I'm never going to do that, I don't think. I mean, unless my job ends up paying for that. For anybody that doesn't know, that is an insanely expensive restaurant at Walt Disney World. But it's just one of those things where it's like, if we're all hanging out, we're having a good time. That's why, I don't know. That's why I like Bayside Tapas, man. It's like we can hang out, can vibe, and it's like somebody gets a drink or somebody gets a drink. It's not a break the bank place at Disney. And it's hard to find those places, But it is hard. I mean, it's a difficult thing. Cassandra, I see your comment in here. It's difficult for people to see outside their own lenses. And it's also, that's life, because that is also kind of how we're like taught and trained, and that is how society builds us, because it wants us to be workers, it wants us to be worker bees, it wants us to be a part of the system. And so it really does take, like, emotion is a resource, that you are pulling from in your own life, the like the mental capacity, like these things to be able to sit and look beyond that. It is a task that I think you have to task yourself with. But, I think when I don't know, it's one of those things where it's just like, I've just been thinking about it lately, where it's just like, I like to try and be less snappy and less negative, and try and just like listen a little bit more. Because my anxiety is the type where I do have a bad habit of like talking over people, but it's only because when I get really excited about like understanding what they're talking about, or trying to find that relatable thing, like, oh, it's like in this movie or that thing, and I'm worried I'll miss it, or miss that opportunity with them, or something like that, or that's how they'll find me interesting. I don't know. So that's how I do it, but it's different for everybody. Well, again, I am no expert. These are just the things I think about in my life, and I'm just trying to share them all with you. So it's okay. I'm gonna probably get some really negative comments for kind of talking about this stuff, and that's okay. You know what? That's that. Those are those people's journey, and I have to remember everybody's hardwired a little bit differently. And until they, if they're, I don't know. I want to say if they're not hurting somebody, but I don't know. They really are. It's crazy. What was the cavalcade? Yeah, the cavalcade was like it was like a tiny little parade, tiny parade that had 2 stopping points where they did a whole dance number and everything. I love it. I love a short to the sweet sort of a thing. I don't like using the word cavalcade sometimes. I mean, that is what it's called, But when I think of a cavalcade, sometimes I think about like that one float that would come out during the pandemic at Walt Disney World, and it was like it was more than that because it was all the Fab Five. They were all there, and Clarabelle was there, and there was a bunch of dancers. It was just cool to see all the costumes and everything like that. I loved it. I loved it. But anyway, how the heck is everybody? Anybody see some good movies? Anybody watch it? I didn't watch Pixar. I didn't watch Inside Out 2 yet. I'm gonna hope to go see it this week. I want to see that, and then I know A Quiet Place is coming out on Friday. I really want to see that, and then I think like right around the corner. I mean, Deadpool and Wolverine is the end of July, but there's something is like the first week of July. I can't remember. No, I just do want to say thank you to everybody who is watching or tunes in or has watched this or anything like that. I just really appreciate you for allowing me to have this space. For those of you being a part of it, and for coming in and contributing to the vibe, the good vibe, and everything like that. And I like to believe, that maybe this is just that thing where it could be like. I'm a firm believer that we should try and make the world a little bit of a better place than the one we came into it. And that can be it can feel overwhelming task, but I think it can also be like just such a simple thing as just like saying hi to somebody, saying like, oh, I like your hair or stuff like that, or holding the door open for somebody. I like saying hello, like things like that, it's awkward, it's whatever, but I don't know. Every now and then it's just like do that little thing and we never know where the ripples are going to go. Am I right? Am I right? Jared, also always a pleasure to see you at Disneyland. Or not always see you at Disneyland. It was the first time I've seen you at Disneyland, but it was a pleasure to see you, and I loved your outfit. The funny thing, so Jared in here, you always has like fun outfits, all that stuff. And was walking through the park on the Wednesday through California Adventure, and I remember out of the corner of my eye seeing somebody dressed up like a member from Fort Town, and I was like, oh, I should say that I really like his outfit. And I was like, just yell it out. But they were like, when I turned around to do it, I was like, oh God, they're so far and I'm going to be so loud. And so I did it. And it was so funny because then I saw Jared post it and I was like, oh my God, I walked right by you and didn't even realize it because I was like lost in my own world. But yeah. Yeah. I am, TV shows. I'm finally catching up. No spoilers in here on Only Murders in the Building. I am like, I think more than halfway through. I think I've got like 4 episodes left. I try to watch it in like 3 episode batches. So I think I'm on like episode 8 or 9 or something. That's so good. Oh my God, this is what we're going to talk about. Yeah. Doctor Who. That was interesting too. At first I'm no spoiler discussion. At first I was just like, I felt a little wind down my sails, but I need to tell you, the finale had me in tears. Whether you like it or not, there is a couple moments in there where I was like, well, I'm crying. I love them, Shudigawa, and I can't wait to get more Doctor Who. I love it so much. Also, the show I'm really enjoying too, on the other side of that, is The Acolyte on Disney Plus, the Star Wars show. I have really been enjoying it, and I am one of those type of Star Wars fans where like, you see me in the clothes, you see me in the whatever. I only watched like the movies and stuff when I was a kid, and then I finally watched all the cartoon shows, bar like one made for really young kids, one that was only like a season called Resistance or something like that. But yeah, I like it, and I think people are struggling with not being able to binge it and having to watch it week to week. But especially after this last week's episode that ended like basically on a cliffhanger shot, but I feel like now that we're in the back half of the episodes, because this was episode 4 this week, and there's 8 episodes, I think it's gonna like really pick up some steam. But I've really enjoyed it. I love the Daphne Keene girl from Logan. I enjoy the gentleman who plays Saul, who is from Squid Games. Who, I don't know if I said this on the show before, but I just read that he learned English in a matter of like 4 months to be able to do the show, and it's like crazy that he did that. I don't know. So I am I'm a fan. I'm a fan because I feel like in a lot of the more recent Star Wars stuff, especially, we never got any like Jedi stories. We got a little bit in the prequels, but even then it was kind of like, well, we know know it's not going to end well. I mean, it might not end well in this show either, because this show is also the first one to be like developed as a multi-season show, which is cool too. So I hope it does get the renewal. I think they said they were already working on scripts, but no, I enjoy it. It's making me think like I don't think I was ever a Jedi for Halloween, so I'm thinking about maybe doing that this year. I don't know. It'll be fun though. I like the like murder mystery police procedural aspect of it. Finest Kind. I haven't heard of that movie. Oh my God, Adele. Okay, Adele's saying, convince my friends to watch fireworks from Disney's Galaxy's Edge based upon your review, and now they won't want to watch anywhere else. Yeah, so good. I loved it over there. We weren't. So that was the only thing about Pride Night is like they don't do the normal fireworks show, and the special fireworks were cool, but they don't do the normal fireworks show, and they don't do Phantasmic, and so I kind of missed out. I missed out on seeing Phantasmic because that day I got there, I was just exhausted and I could not do it. And then, yeah, but I'll be back in August for D23, I think. So, but yeah, Jennifer, you 100% need to start Only Murders in the Building from the beginning. You cannot start watching it and without having watched it. It's not very long season though. I think it's only like 13 episodes, maybe 16. But it's one of those shows where it starts and just gets better and better and better and better. I really enjoy that. I'm liking that. Basically rewatched Schitt's Creek again recently and Superstore, those two things, because they're always on in the background. No, I have not read Disney Wars. I haven't seen either. Cindy is asking in here if anyone's watched the How Disney Built America, because I would be interested in watching that too. I still need to watch the last season of Star Trek Discovery. That's what it was. I was like, I know there's another thing. I thought I downloaded it on my iPad. Like it said it had downloaded, but then when I went to the iPad on the airplane, it wasn't there. So, so I've got to watch that. And yeah, I'm going to try and convince my friend Kim to watch Doctor Who a little bit more. She did watch the like horror episode, and she liked that. And we watched Christmas episode, and she liked that. So I want to watch her. I want to have her watch the social media episode, so we can just like get into it. I think she'll like a couple of the episodes. So I don't think the show as a whole will be her thing, but I think she'll like it. But yeah. Oh, gang, I miss Disneyland. I mean, it's nice. My friend Kyle just sent me a message and was like, "Are you happy to be home?" And I was like, "Yes, I am thrilled to be with my corgis." Let me think. I think I can use my camera as a second camera because I need to show you what Rocket is doing right now. Can I zoom in on him? No, but that is how Rocket lays. Generally, he finds a corner and props his head up like that. However, the most uncomfortable it will be, that will be him. So, yeah. And I love you, Rocket. And he opened his eyes at me a little bit. Anyway, that's my crazy corgi. I think Artie also won't like bug him while he's asleep, and Artie might be over there too. No, I think Artie went to the door. But yeah. Oh, man. I'm so bummed. I would have loved to have said hi to Harvey Galen. But really, I just want to give him a message because what I'm going to say when I meet him is I'm going to say, Harvey, you are an incredibly talented individual. But most of all, I just want to say thank you so much for your work on what we did in the shadows. That my friend Kim has cancer and she is in pain so much of her life. And our love of that show really gives her something to look forward to, something to laugh about. And brings so much happiness into us. And we did What We Do in the Shadows theme Thanksgiving, and I just wanted to say thank you for all of that. And, you made life a little bit better for some people out there. I think it's important. I think there are times where it's like, normally I don't want to bug anybody or say anything, and then it's like, but that is one of my, like, goals. I'm going to try and meet him because I want to say thank you. But yeah. I did. My tattoo is not the August 1st is my date to get my final bit of the tattoo worked on. The search for a new place is slow. My lease is up here, I think, at the end of August or in September, and so I'm trying to pick up that pace a little bit. But it is also like I can give notice. It's essentially like a 60 days notice, so it's not That's not like super stressing me out. It stresses me out a little bit. But I'm still on that fence. I'd be very honest with you. I'm very much like considering, you know, I mean, moving somewhere else. There's no way to cut it. There was things I will obviously miss in Florida. I have decided that I will, at least for my own mental health and everything like that. I can't leave this close to the Halloween season. I said that I want to stay at least for one more Halloween season, and then after that, it's like okay. So it's kind of like accepting what comes with that, and so I will. I'll be hopefully another Halloween Horror Nights, and that'll be fun. And I'm excited to see what the other houses are they announced. I have a Monster shirt on today because we were talking about the Universal Monsters area that they just announced last week for Epic Universe, the new Universal theme park. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know where to go. I'd move to California. That's the joke. I keep saying, not a joke, but I mean, I'm afraid of earthquakes is the thing, you know, and it's very expensive, obviously. But I don't know. More and more, sometimes I'm like, Palm Springs, baby. What do I do in Palm Springs, though? You know, that's the other thing. What would I do? I have a very big day tomorrow. Very important day tomorrow that I hope everybody stays tuned for. And so, you know, it's gonna be good. I'm not gonna be stressed about it. Yeah, and I'm not gonna talk about it anymore than that until later. But obviously, we can talk about it on another show and stuff like that. But yeah, it's gonna be good. So I don't know where I was going with this. What am I going to talk about? I made a list today of like those little things. Those little things where you're like, so we've been building like our studio at work, and it's like, oh, I'm missing a hammer or a screwdriver, or I need a mirror somewhere where I can see, because you're like, oh, did I just mess up my hair, or like whatever, or does this look right, you know? And it's so I was like, I made a list where I was like, okay, I've got to do this. I'm almost thinking about doing it as a pickup order for Target, but it's such weird stuff that I'm like, I don't want to be like, hi, put this in my trunk. But yeah, like a yardstick, a toaster oven, a shelving unit, Mary Poppins poster, jug of water, just random stuff I'm trying to remember. But I don't know, gang. I am going to work on some paintings this week, I think. So hopefully I get some time for that. Maybe on this weekend. I think actually that's probably what I will do with my weekend. I got some corgi hair in my mouth right then. Fantastic. What else is going on this week? That's it, really. I'm hoping to keep it. I'm trying to keep myself nice and level. Work on things, you know, get work done, but also work on stuff that feed my soul, feed my cup. I also have to remember I have therapy at 9 a.m. tomorrow because I normally have it at 10 a.m. on Mondays. But that'll be a good motivator to like wake up, go to bed early. I am going to stop this live stream at like, I don't know. Hold on. 9:30? 9:30 sound okay? Well, it says it's 9:12 now. If I do stop for 45 minutes, 45 minutes is 7 minutes from now because I started 4 minutes late. So I'll go for at least 45 minutes. John, Kentucky was nice when I went. I mean, I don't remember what part of Kentucky you live in. I went to Bardstown, and that was, I mean, small but nice. You know, Louisville was. I didn't spend a ton of time in there because it was only like through the tours in and out. But I mean, at least you're near an airport and a city and stuff. Tracy says I went to Bath at the weekend. I thought it said Bed Bath. I went to bathe at the weekend and brought some great bath gin made at the local distillery. I don't know what Bath is. Hold on. I'm just looking at the chat. Sorry, trying to catch up. That's cool. What is the okay? Okay, this is a question. What is the painting in the studio behind you? I can't figure it out. It's from Into the Spider-Verse. It's Miles and Spider-Gwen sitting on his bed, and all the stuff is like floating. I love Spider-Verse, and I like supporting local artists. And there was a guy at MegaCon who was an Orlando local person, and they gave me that size canvas. I felt like he gave me a good deal. Where I was like, there was a part of me I was like, I could do something like this, but I was like, you know what? I like having stuff that other people have done too. It matches a Superman painting that I did once. Let me see. I think I can show you on this. Hold on. Oh wait, can I not? Oh, I don't think I can connect back to my phone again once I disconnected it. But I did one where it was like kind of very abstract, like you really just see the body and not really his face, and then it's all like kind of shapes and stuff like that. And so I really liked that about the Into the Spider-Verse one that I got. So yeah, so that painting is not going to stay at the studio because that painting is for my place. I just needed something to fill the wall. I need a backdrop, something to black out. I think the light behind me. I'm a vampire. I feel like that's a song, right? But anyway, Colorado. Listen, I like Colorado. Colorado's got a lot going for it. You got cold weather there. I think about Seattle because Seattle has a really thriving gay community. I want to go somewhere where there are homosexuals, like, and it's just like I want to be like I don't know. I just don't want to feel like I'm drowning in my own sweat every day. But I don't want to complain about that either. Well, Deborah, good luck with the rest of the work. Thanks for coming in with us. Oh, look at that. People hanging out. Anyway. What did I say? The movies, the shows, the music. Okay, I was like, I knew there was a little bit of something to everything I wanted to talk about. First of all, did we hear about there's a new Hunger Games book coming out where it's going to be about Haymitch at the Quarter Quell? I'm pretty excited for that. I actually really, really, really liked. I haven't seen the movie of it yet, which is insane because normally I would see that in the movie theater. I didn't see the Songbirds and Snakes movie, but I had read the book when it first came out, and that was honestly one of my favorite Hunger Games books. I do feel like it ends very abruptly, but I enjoyed it quite a bit, and so I need to watch that. And then obviously they're going to make a movie out of that. But the music, I'm really like obsessed with this Orville Peck song. I had never heard anything by Orville Peck, and now I am obsessed with Midnight Ride, where it's him, Kylie Minogue, and Diplo, and it's like infectious, and it is one of those like. Sometimes I'll hear a song and it's like in your head you can like see a music video to it. So I've never seen the music video, but it was like I can feel it, and I love when a song kind of does that. So I am a big fan. Listen, Chiva, Massachusetts is on the Zillow search, but Richmond, Virginia. My good friend. Just moved from California to Richmond because he's originally from Virginia. And so hopefully going to go see them at some point in this next year. Their son and everything like that. There are literally, I think, from door to door, it's 12 hours. So like with the Corgis, it'd be longer. So it's one of those where I'd like to go and try and not stop until I get there. But we'll see how it goes. I would love to go visit for a couple of days, hang out. His kid is so funny. Kay Rose, that is very kind of you. She says, Ryno, I have to say I love when you post songs to Instagram. I'm always looking for new music, and they're always right up my alley. I am obsessed with that on my repeat right now. I have Good Luck Babe by Chapel Roan. I've got Happy Nation from Ace of Base because they played that in that X-Men 97 episode that was devastating to me that I had to talk about with that creator. Nowhere by Graveyard Club. Obviously Florida by Taylor Swift and Florence and the Machine. Vampire. The Orville Peck song that I just said. Did you make it in here yet? Okay, so this hasn't updated completely yet. But My Love by Florence and the Machine. Yeah. that's how I like, honestly, that's how I like discovering new music too. So, um, oh, my friend Andrew, he did the design for the shirt. He just sent me a message about it. He said, nice shirt. Heck yeah. And I'm like, oh, I had no idea. I had no idea. But yeah. Did I buy any merch while I was in Disneyland? You betcha I did. Actually, I was pretty good. So I bought 2 t-shirts. I know you never see me in t-shirts anymore. One had Clarabelle on it, and she has a fan. And I swear to God, I mean, it's not technically the Pride fan, but it kind of looks like it. So I was like, well, I need the shirt. It was their mistake not to make it the Pride fan. And then there was a Goofy Movie pink shirt that I had gotten forever ago, but it was all sized incorrectly. And so I think they finally like sized it better. And so I got one of those. And then Galaxy's Edge had the wooden coasters, which I actually have right here. Had come back that we had these like once for a second. And I was like, oh, I need them because, hello, what that? Hold on, product showcase. There we go. And then on the back, you know, they just say like Star Wars. But it's like the drink. And then what's cool is this coaster doesn't exist in the cantina, which is Rex. And then I got the Rancor one. So they come in a pack of 4. So I got those. And then a cute little like clip-on tauntaun for my backpack, because apparently those are all becoming things. Clip-on little guys. But yeah, I got 2 t-shirts, that and that clip-on, and then I got the Matterhorn mug. So I can show it to you because it's like right here. Hold on, I'll show it to you. I don't like showing off stuff. Just because it feels very braggadocious. I'm not a braggadocious bro. But let me show you. Here, first of all, here's the tauntaun too, I guess. Oh, I lied. I also got this like bracelet, but it's not in here. Wait, where's my tauntaun? Okay, so here's the tauntaun. There was a Porg one too, but this guy was too cute. But it's like not a keychain. I mean, it is a keychain, but it has a carabiner clip on the end, which I like better, so I can clip it to anything. So I got that guy because he was real cute. So cute. So cute. And then I got some mugs. Okay? So the Club 33 mug came with the like Matterhorn, or sorry, not Club 33. The Trader Sam's mug came with this like Matterhorn cup with the little things and everything. And so that came with this mug. I'll show it to you because I got it autographed. Isn't that fun? I was never there for a mug release before, and then they had a whole like photo area set up. The guy who was doing it did some signings. It was great. So there's my mug. That's the Yeti, celebrating the 65th anniversary of the Matterhorn. And then he signed it on the bottom there. It's my kitchen. It's not my kitchen. It's my like. It's technically my like living. You're asking where I'm filming from? It's the not dining room. I hate saying dining room. There is not a dining room. It's all one little room. Living room. This is where I eat. That's where the kitchen is. So it's in that. It's in the living space. I just didn't put my. Recording area back together yet, but so I got this one too. Hold on, this one's very heavy and I don't want to break it. I got to get a cheaper hobby, I think. So this is like in the attraction, out front of the attraction, for the Matterhorn, this footprint is out there. So this is like the mug, but look at the back. Isn't that cool? I mean, oh my God, the Alexa's going to start talking again. I swear to God. I feel like they go together, so it's great. This isn't really a mug. I feel like this is like one of the most non-mug mugs they've ever released. The other one was like, there's a bowl that is a bowl. It's like a bowl you drink out of. But that one I would use for like candy and stuff like that. But and they still do that at Trader Sam's out there. But yeah, I'm a sucker. I'm a sucker. So spent too much money, but it is what it is. Can only get it the one. They know how to get you on the FOMO, you know. I don't know what my computer just did. I think it went like day to night, but that was cool. It was fun. I feel very fortunate to have been able to get that that mug, and I'm very happy with it. That one I'm going to have to figure out a fun way to display it a little bit better. But yeah, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of mugs. I guess like there's a part of me where I'm like kind of like I need to go through the mugs I have. They're in like the corner over here, and figure out like the ones that mean something versus the ones that don't, and like maybe like do a little bit of a purge because there's some where it's like okay, like I have two that are the busts from Haunted Mansion, and those are really like those are some of my favorite ones because they look just like the busts at Haunted Mansion, like the things that follow you, and then but like. The one that's like the Hitchhiking Ghost, like, I don't know. I don't love it. I like my Jack Skellington, the Screaming Head one. You know, I like my zombie mugs. Honestly, there's a part of me where I'm like, I should just keep getting the zombie mug because I like it, but I feel like they raised the price of these so much that it's like, I don't want them. I can't afford to do that. Jesus. Samantha just said the Footprint mug is on eBay for $850. Good Lord. I'm not selling it though. That's the I have a I don't I won't sell those ones. But the Loungefly bag was super cute. The Matterhorn Loungefly bag I saw. You know, and then there's like the gargoyle from Haunted Mansion I like, and but there's somewhere I'm like I have the boat like the I don't know if it's like the Jungle Cruise boat. Yeah, I don't know. I don't love the mug. So that's why I'm like, I'm thinking about maybe like going through and maybe doing a couple, eBaying a couple of them or something like that. I don't know. I would like to do more of the zombie head ones, but they were definitely like a lot cheaper when I had first gotten my first one, and I feel like now they're probably like $50 or $60. The mugs are expensive because I want to say the one that was the Yetis, the Yeti, the Trader Sam's one that I had signed on the bottom. I feel like that was like 65 or something like that. I don't know. So they're not cheap. It's not cheap. Samantha, I do have that Monstro one. That one is cool. I do like the Monstro one. It's like Monstro. There's a Monstro one I have that I really like, and then there's one that is like Jose. I think one of the birds from the Tiki Room, and that one is really cool too. Because I like those because they're like really good like shelf pieces. Like it's like, oh, they look like those iconic things, and that's why I like the foot one too, the Yeti footprint. But and they like the reason why I like those two though is they like go together. But you know, there's like a couple over there where I'm like, there's like one that was like a surfboard. They still have it at Trader Sam's. I'm like, I don't even know why I got this one. I didn't like that one. So I've gotten better about just getting the ones that I do really like, but then I won't get the ones I do like sometimes because I pull back too far. Like the piranha head, it's I don't like the drink that comes with it because it's like basically just like a blue Hawaiian pina colada, but it's a giant piranha, and they had a gold one for a while, and I still don't have it at all. And I was like, that mug's really cool looking though because it's like a piranha with like its mouth open, and I was like, I'd drink out of that. I gotta also like pick the ones to drink out of, but I drink out of my Geeky Tiki ones sometimes. I just haven't been making drinks like that. But I do have like 3 of the Power Ranger ones. I have the Blue Ranger, and I think I have the Yellow and Black Ranger. But the pink and red were gone, and the green one. So it's like I need to complete that set. But it's one of those where I was like, do I need the 6 Power Ranger ones? No. Yes, I do. Anyway, but yeah. I do have a cool Indiana Jones ride one that's over there. That's like the snakes coming up the side of it and everything. I like ones like that. I don't know. I have one that's like Walt, like it's Walt Disney, but it's I don't know. He looks like Jack Torrance from The Shining. It's a little scary, but that one's cool. But anyway, all right, gang. Well, I am gonna call it a night. I think I appreciate all of you, you know, very much, and I look forward to doing this next Monday, July 1st, our first one of July. We'll have lots to talk about. I'd ask that maybe you think about what I said earlier today about my Monday meditation on like kindness, and I know I say it every week, but it's just one of those things where it's like maybe think about how you can help create more inclusive spaces. Whether that can be something, I don't know, it can be something so simple by just letting somebody feel a little bit more comfortable, however that can be. I'm sure you're already making the people in your life feel comfortable, but you know what I mean? Just kind of think about it. Just meditate on it. That's all. Just give it a little thought. But I appreciate all of you. Yeah, Tracy, you're right. Doing the complete set or it's going to eat me alive, especially when it's Power Ranger stuff. You're like, well, how can you just have the 3? Because I only had the Blue Ranger because he was my favorite, but then it was just like the other 2 were on clearance or sale or whatever, and I got them like 2 for 1, and I was just like, now I have to get the other ones. I should have the Power Ranger ones though, but because it's like my identity. So that's going to do it for me. Thank you, everybody, for your continued support. I really appreciate all of you. Stay tuned to that coffee site that I'm doing, and you will, I'll pop it on the screen really quick just in case, so if anyone needs to come back to it. Because I will hopefully in the next week maybe have some art on there if anyone is interested in that. Just going to throw it out there. And all of my personal Patreon supporters as well. Just want to remind you, I posted the teas for the contest. You're going to get your questions in the next day or two, and we'll get that some fun things going with that. So, and I will be doing, I believe this week, a personal live stream on Patreon. A Patreon live stream, a live stream on my personal Patreon. There we go. Jeez Louise. Anyway, you're all amazing. Do amazing things like the amazing people you are, and have a wonderful time. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for spending this evening with me. I really, really appreciate all of you. You are wonderful people. Do wonderful things. Bye. Bye.